this is my first birth story of the calendar year, but my fourth child. This is Matthew's birth story. So, Matthew's birth story his pregnancy starts a little bit different than the other three. With him, I was in shock when I found out I was pregnant and going to have 4 children under the age of 6. And my then sister-in-law was also trying to get pregnant and had been for 4 years. And she just found out she was pregnant. And we were going to be due 4 days apart. We were so excited. And he was going to be my first planned home birth. And I was just excited, but nervous. You know, it was something new. And at 11 weeks, she miscarried. And I remember thinking, okay, she's been trying for 4 years. She's going to be an amazing mother. And she just lost her baby. So I've had 3. I'm going to lose this child. This child is not going to make it. And I just should not even get attached to this baby. And shut down my emotions. I worked on a blanket, but I worked on a blanket thinking I was never going to have a baby to wrap in it. I prepared some things. I went to all my appointments, but I just knew it wasn't going to work. And 6 days before my due date, it was a Tuesday night, his dad, Bill, and I were out shopping for some, I don't even remember what it was we were looking for, but I found this little dog that's like the dog head that has a blanket attached to it, and I put it up at my belly. We were in the middle of JCPenney, and I burst out in tears and said, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a baby. And he looked at me like, yeah, you're less than a week away from your due date, silly. Of course you're gonna have a baby. And that was when I realized he's actually coming. Like, it's coming. Birth is going to happen. This is coming. And the next day was Valentine's Day. And got up and felt a little, I don't know, felt a little off. Just felt off. And it was about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I told my mom, I said, I think it might be the early start of something. Well, it was a Wednesday night, and that meant church night when the kids all went to Awana, which was a program that the church had. And my mom said, I'll take the kids. You stay home and you rest. So she took the kids, and it was starting to snow, and the roads were getting bad. Well, it got so bad they actually canceled it. So she brought the kids back home. It was about probably 7 or so. At this time, Bill was at work still. He was a restaurant manager, so he had crazy hours. So he was at work, and my mom said, okay, everybody needs to go to bed because this might be the night. Because I was having just like some cramping here and there, but I didn't think I was in labor, but thought I might go into labor. So everybody went home. My mom and my sisters went home. I put the kids to bed. I went to bed. And I told Bill, I would call him if anything changed. So I went to sleep. And I woke up probably about 11:30-ish. And I knew I was in labor. Then I was having the contractions. So I told my mom, I said, I'm pretty sure I'm in labor now. She was like, okay, we're coming over. So she grabbed my 3 sisters, and brought them over. But keep in mind, it was starting to snow earlier. It's really snowing now. Thankfully, my mother just lived a couple miles down the road. But it was southern Ohio, very southern Ohio, just over the West Virginia border. So it was very hilly. So it took her a while to get to me. And Bill gets home, it's about midnight. I'm sure I'm in labor. So I called my midwife, let her know how I was feeling, that sort of thing. So she gets there about 12:30. She came like right away because it was baby number 4. She wasn't going to waste any time. So she gets there and she checks me and she's like, you're at about 3 to 4, but definitely in labor, but early labor, so I'm going to take a little nap. It's like, okay. Well, so she called her assistant and told her assistant to come on over. And shortly thereafter, the assistant calls her back. And from all of the snow, and she lived at the top of a mountain, she had slid off the side of the driveway into the ditch. Her car was stuck, and there was no way she was going to be able to make it. So my midwife was going to be on her own, which wasn't anything new and nothing she was concerned about, especially since my mom had had 6 kids. This was my 4th, so we weren't too nervous about that. I wasn't far from a hospital, so we were like, oh, it'll be fine. And where I lived was flat to the hospital, so it wasn't too bad. So she took a nap. She went to take a nap, and I went out into the living room with my ex and my my sisters. My kids were asleep. My kids slept through the entire labor and delivery, the whole thing. They slept through the whole thing. So I had my big exercise birthing ball, and I was sitting on that, and I will insert pictures here. I had forgotten to take end of pregnancy pictures, so we were taking them in between contractions as I was getting ready to have this kid. So these pictures are they were hard work at this point. It was about 2:30. And I told Bill, I said, something's changed. It's different. I feel like it's really different. So we wake her up, and she checked me again, said my bag was bulging, she could break my water if I wanted, and I was about 6 to 7 centimeters. So she went ahead. I had her like, yes, please get rid of all the pressure. So I had her break my water. By the time she broke my water, I think it was close to 3 o'clock-ish in the morning. And that really kicked labor off. And just like with a couple of my other kids before, I had Josh playing in the background. I was in my bedroom, on the side of my bed. And that was just kind of where I wanted to labor. And I remember at that point it was my mother, myself, my ex-husband Bill, and the midwife Angie. And I remember everybody was kind of guessing what time. Now, out in the living room, my sisters Haley, Elena, and Selena were all there, as well as my friend Faith. Now, Elena and Selena were the younger two, and they were out. They were passed out. They were asleep. But Haley and Faith were kind of in the kitchen and talking, and could hear me a little bit having contractions through the walls of the house. And I remember Bill saying to me, "You're going to have this baby about 5:30. And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm going to have this baby around 5 o'clock. And he was like, no, it'll be 5:30. So at 5:07, Matthew was born. And we joked that, I just had to prove him wrong. I just had to be wrong, but at least it was wrong in a good earlier way. I got to have my little baby sooner. So with Matthew, I had my foot up on the nightstand and the other foot up on Bill's shoulder, and he actually caught Matthew. The midwife was the one taking the pictures, which I'll insert some of the ones that aren't as graphic. And my mom basically held me up and supported me from behind. It was amazing. It was just perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better birth. He weighed in at 7 pounds 8 ounces, and was 19 and a half inches long. Just so cute, lots of hair, and we all kind of noticed right away he had a little dimple. It was the cutest thing. He just has one dimple on his right cheek. And with the other kids, somebody else, the doctor actually cut the cord with Michael. My ex cut it with Nicholas. My mom cut it with Michaela. And so with Matthew, we thought it would be really cool to let his big brother cut the cord. So after Matthew was born, we woke up Michael, who would have turned 6 in April. So this was in the middle of April, and this was the middle of February. So he was 2 months shy of 6. So we woke up Michael, and we're like, your little brother is here. Come cut the cord. So he came, and I got pictures of that. And he got to cut the cord. So that was kind of a neat experience for him. And yeah, it was so nice. I took a shower, and they all kind of loved and cleaned him up and snuggled him up, and everybody got to see Matthew, and everybody woke up by the time I delivered. I guess I probably made enough noise to wake everybody up except my own children. They slept through it all. We had to wake them up. But it was a great birth. From then I was sold. I only wanted to have home births. And I was mad I hadn't had one before, but I was so in love with my home birth. Now, after Matthew, he was the only one who I suffered postpartum depression with. And I attribute that really to the fact that I refused to bond with him. I refused to have any connection with him before he was born. But let me tell you, the second I held that little boy in my arms, my heart melted, and we were like glue. Super, super close. I just adore him. And I will never forget the experience that he gave me, letting me have a birth the way, 100% the way I wanted it. Everything went just the way I had hoped it would. It was perfect, and it was just magical. And holding him on my chest, I just broke down in tears and cried. And after him, I prepared myself for postpartum depression with my other children, thinking that it could possibly happen again. But it hasn't. So I've been very fortunate that I did just have it with Matthew. But boy, that kid, I love him so much. And today, Matthew is 12 years old. He is in 6th grade. He is getting pretty good grades in school. He's a pretty good student. He likes to learn, loves to read. And like most boys, especially his age, he loves gaming. His aspirations are to be a YouTuber. This is what he wants to do when he grows up. He likes to play on Roblox and Minecraft and all sorts of things like that. Likes to watch YouTube videos of people playing those games as well. But really, just an avid reader. Loves not so much history, but more mythology in history, which he takes a lot after Michael in that aspect. But I can't say enough good things about Matthew. My heart soars for that kid. I love him so much. And that is Matthew's birth story. I love you, Matthew.